Welcome to Coverage and Clarity with Jacques, the podcast where we break down protection, planning, and peace of mind so you can make confident decisions for the people who matter most.
Welcome to Coverage and Clarity with Jacques. This is where we slow things down, remove the confusion, and focus on what truly matters, protecting the people you love and building a future you could feel confident about. Let me ask you something. What if your life insurance policy wasn't something sitting in a drawer, but something intentionally built, designed with your life in mind? Designed to protect your family if something unexpectedly happened. Designed to support your goals while you're living. Designed to evolve as your life changes. Because here's the reality. Most people don't approach life insurance this way. They buy a policy due to a major movement in their life. Maybe it's when they had their child, when they bought a home, started a job, and they never revisited it again. There was no adjustments, no strategy, no alignment with future goals. And over time, that policy became outdated. They only thought of it as a bill, a checkbox, something that they were told they should have. But today, we're going to shift that perspective. Today, we're going to talk about how to design your future and how life insurance, when structured correctly, becomes one of the most powerful financial tools you'll ever have. We're going to walk you through how to design your life insurance intentionally, how to align it with your milestones, how to turn it into a tool that supports your life, not just reacts to it. Let's begin with the mindset shift, because everything starts here. Most people see life insurance as a monthly bill, something they pay for but don't fully understand. And because of that, it's often undervalued. But when you step back and look at what life insurance actually does, it becomes clear. This is not an expense. This is a financial strategy. Now let's break it down together. If something were to happen to you tomorrow, would your income continue for your family? Would your debts disappear? What would your children's future plans remain intact? What most households, the answer to this will be no. That's where life insurance steps in. It creates immediate liquidity at the exact moment it's needed the most. There are no delays, no market discrepancies, no uncertainty. And beyond that, it could be structured to do more. Replace 10, 15, or even 20 years worth of income. Pay off major liabilities like your mortgages or loans. Provide a financial cushion during a transition period. Support long-term wealth transfer strategies. So instead of asking, how much does this cost me? Start asking, what does this protect? What does this enable? Because when you understand the role it plays, you stop looking at it as a bill and start thinking of it more as your cornerstone. Now let's bring this into real life, because your coverage should reflect your life's journey. Every stage of life introduces new responsibilities, and with those responsibilities come financial risk. Let's walk over a few key milestones. Your early career. At this stage, coverage may be minimal, but locking in insurability is critical. Rates are lower, health is typically better, and this is your foundation. At marriage or partnership, now your decisions affect someone else. You're no longer planning for one, you're planning for two. Home ownership. A mortgage introduces a long-term financial obligation. Your coverage should ensure that the home remains secure no matter what happens. Parenthood. This is where the conversation changes significantly. Now, it's not just about income. It's about childcare, education, daily living expenses, long-term stability. If you're a business owner, you're not just protecting your family, you're protecting your employees, your partners, your operations. Pre-retirement and retirement. At this stage, the focus often shifts to legacy planning, estate considerations, final expenses, tax efficiencies. Here's a key takeaway. Your life insurance should not be static. It should be reviewed regularly, especially when life changes. So ask yourself, if something happened to me today, will my current plan truly reflect the life I've built? Now that's where we understand the why. Let's align it with how. Different types of policies serve different roles, and understanding that is where clarity begins. Now, term insurance is often the starting point. Think of term life as protection for a definite period. It's ideal for income replacement during working years, covering your mortgage, protecting children while they're your dependents. It's straightforward, it's cost effective, and it does exactly what it's meant to do, which is to be highly effective for temporary needs. Now, with permanent insurance such as whole life, this is designed for long-term stability. This is long-term how it begins. It offers you lifelong coverage, predictable premiums, it has cash value accumulation, it doesn't expire as long as you pay your bill, and it builds value over time. This can serve as a stable component within a broader financial plan. Now, with Index Universal Life, this introduces flexibility. It allows for adjustments in your premium structure, your death benefit, and timing. This could be useful for individuals whose financial picture may evolve. Now, the strategic insight into all of this is about which one aligns with your current season and your future vision. The real power comes from combining these tools. For example, a young family might use term coverage for income protection, while also establishing a smaller, permanent policy for long-term goals. This approach creates balance, protection now, and planning for the future. Now let's take this out of theory and into real life. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about policies. This is where it becomes meaningful. Your policy should reflect your priorities. It's about people. It's about what matters most to you. Let me walk you through a few examples. Protecting your home. You want to ensure that your family can remain in the home without any financial disruptions. While funding education, you want to provide resources so your children can pursue opportunities regardless of circumstances without financial stress. Income continuation. Replacing income so your family can maintain their lifestyle and stability. Now, if you have a business, you want to protect your business that you built from the ground up, ensuring a business can continue operating or transition smoothly upon your demise. Legacy planning, making sure your loved ones are not burdened during one of the most difficult times of their lives. You want to leave behind something intentional, whether that's financial support, charitable giving, or generational wealth. Final expense planning, removing financial burdens during an emotional time. When designed properly, financial expense planning can support every one of them because it's not just about what happens when you're gone, it's about how your family lives after you're gone. Here's a deeper truth. Life insurance is not about preparing for death. It's about protecting the life you're building right now. Now let's talk about something most people overlook, how to customize it. Not all policies are created equal. And more importantly, not all policies are designed. This is where thoughtful planning separates itself from basic coverage. Because not all policies are structured the same, customization allows you to align your policy with real life scenarios. Your living benefits. Access to funds is one of the events of serious illness, providing flexibility when it matters most. Waiver of premium. If your income is interrupted due to disability, your policy can remain active and your policy stays in force. Conversion options. The ability to transition from term to permanent coverage without new underwriting. Now, with policy layering, there's a concept. It's combining multiple policies to create a more complete strategy. This is where real planning happens. This is where you move from having coverage to having a plan that works for you. Now, these features are often overlooked, but they can improve how your plan performs over time. And this is where working with someone like me who understands strategy, not just products, becomes essential. Let's take a moment to talk about what could go wrong so you can avoid it. Because I've seen this too many times over the 3 decades I've been doing this. Waiting too long. Time is one of the most important factors in insurability and costs. They think they have more time than they actually do. Underestimating needs. Many people choose arbitrary amounts without fully assessing their responsibilities, or they underestimate how much coverage they really need. Some focus only on price without understanding its value. Lowest cost does not always equal best value. Not reviewing coverage. Your life changes, your income changes, your goals change. Your coverage should reflect that. Some people set it and forget it, never revisiting their plan as life changes. Here's the truth. Life doesn't stand still, and your coverage shouldn't either. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. To start where you are and refine your plans as your life evolves. Here's a grounded perspective. You don't need a perfect plan today. You need a thoughtful starting point and a willingness to adjust as life evolves. Now, let me bring you together with real world examples. A young family came in, 2 parents, 2 children. They had some coverage in place, but it was minimal. It was just enough to say they had something there. But when we sat down and really looked into the situation, we realized there were gaps, significant ones. Insufficient income protection, no long-term planning component, no flexibility for future changes. I restructured their plan to have a term coverage to protect the income during their working years and permanent coverage to support long-term goals and stability. What changed wasn't just a policy, it was how they felt. The result? They had clarity, confidence, and most importantly, a peace of mind. Not because they spent more, but because they designed it right, from having something to having a plan. Now, as I close with you today, I want to leave you with something simple, but it's very important. Life insurance is not something you just buy. It's something you design. And when it's designed with intention, when it reflects your goals, your responsibilities, and your values, it becomes more than a policy. It becomes one of the most powerful financial tools you'll ever have and ever need. It becomes a foundation, a plan, a promise to say to people you care most about. So take a moment this week, review what you have. Ask yourselves, is it truly aligned with where I am, where I'm going? Because your future deserves more than just a default plan. It deserves a designed plan. And if it doesn't, that's okay, because you could always redesign it. I'm here to help guide you through this process. Now remember, I provide coverage to clients nationwide. To contact me, call or text the studio line at 631-594-8118. Once again, 631-594-8118. Thank you for spending time with me today. This is Coverage and Clarity with Jacques, where we make complex simple and help you move forward with confidence. Until next time, stay focused, stay prepared, and stay intentional.